Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to guide you through creating this drawing, which is a simple but effective twist on traditional neurographic art. And best of all, it's surprisingly easy to create yourself. So to begin, I'm just going to draw a border around my page using a permanent black marker. Now, this isn't my usual marker pen. I usually use a Sharpie, and this one's a bit thicker than I normally use, but it doesn't matter. All we're doing here is creating a border that we can work up to. It doesn't need to be measured precisely. Now I'm just going to use a 4B pencil to draw some neurographic style lines on the page. Starting on the left, a lovely wiggly line to the right, and another. Then working down the page from left to right, just some wavy wiggly lines. And working on the edges, we'll draw in a few curves, just to kind of slice off those corners a little bit. And then one gliding line down the middle. Now, my apologies if there's a few shadows being cast here. The weather hasn't been great for lighting recently, but we'll work with what we've got. So I'm using a silver marker pen here, and all we're going to do is pick one of those pencil sections, and we're just going to draw just inside the pencil lines some curved bubbly shapes. Now, we're not going to draw right on the line, rather just inside. We do need to leave a little gap between all of those bubble shapes that we're drawing on the page. And we want to do this inside all of the pencil sections. If you don't have a silver marker pen, you can use any colour marker pen that you've got. Now, some of these bubbles will be large and some will be quite small. And some might be too small, and we'll ignore those lines and just make one large bubble instead. Do try to go with the flow a little bit. Experience has taught me that the really tiny shapes can sometimes be a little bit fiddly for this pattern, so sometimes I'll just completely ignore what is down on the paper and make up my own bubble in the space that I've got. So as the page fills up, you'll start to see these kind of bubble shapes just appearing on the page. There isn't a right or wrong way to do this, just try to avoid very sharp corners. If you can imagine in your head those very smooth rounded joins that we create in traditional neurographic art, we're trying to make the outline bubble of that neurographic shape that we make. So I did use a 4B pencil today because it's very, very soft and very unlikely to leave an impression on the paper. If you've only got an HB pencil or a mechanical pencil, that's perfectly fine. Just try not to press the pencil too hard into the page because we'll be erasing those pencil lines later. So now I've picked up my black permanent gel pen and very carefully I'm going to draw along the edge of the silver marker pen lines. This can be a little bit tricky, and if your lines aren't perfect, again, I'm always saying this, don't worry, we'll smooth things out as we go and it will all come together in the end. So inside these silver bubbles, I'm now going to draw a section of straight lines from one side to the other. And then in a traditional neurographic style, I'm going to begin rounding off all of the sharp corners where the lines meet. Just smoothing out each join as I go. Now this is a wonderfully relaxing process. Glide your pen around the shape, rounding off all of those sharp edges and colouring in. So there's no rules in how to do this. For example, this time I'm going to draw the lines in first, and you can draw them at angles, you can draw them straight, you can draw them evenly spaced. It's totally up to you. I like them to be at slight angles. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw in the inners, curving off those corners and inking in. You choose a method which works for you, or chop and change like I often do. It kind of just depends on where I'm working on the page and the positions of my arms. I don't know, I don't have a hard rule, I just know what I want to achieve. So all we're doing really is drawing smaller bubbles inside the silver bubbles. Rest your hand steadily on the desk if it helps keep your line steady. Follow the curves carefully and try to keep the transitions as smooth as you can. So I'm using a gel pen with a 0.7mm nib today. Sometimes I prefer a finer pen. Sometimes I'll use a 0.1 unipin, which works really well for very tight curves, especially if you want a very smooth finish. But today I'm going to stick with the gel pens. Just keep working on each section until the curves feel smooth and balanced. Some curves may extend a little further than others, and that's absolutely fine. Everything will come together visually once the page starts filling out. So sometimes I'm outlining first and sometimes I'm drawing in the internal curves first. It's really important not to get too caught up in the strict processes. This is meant to be relaxing, it's not meant to be technical. But you can follow whichever method feels most comfortable to you, or switch between them like I often do. Now there are quite a lot of these bubbles to fill in, so do try not to feel too overwhelmed by the task ahead. Just take one section at a time. You don't even have to finish the drawing in one single sitting. In fact, this one is the perfect piece of work just to work on for 10 or 15 minutes at a time. And you know, I'm working on an A4 size sheet of paper. This pattern also works really well on smaller sizes. Just keep working your way slowly and methodically around the page. Round off the corners, smooth the lines, and just gradually you will fill in all of these shapes. So yeah, that's the pattern, and you just need to continue all around the page in the same way, and before long you'll have a beautiful piece of abstract art. Now I really hope that you've enjoyed drawing along with me today. If this video has inspired you to pick up your own sketchbook, do let me know in the comments below. I always love to hear from you. I usually post 2 videos each week. One is a full drawing like this one, sometimes guided and sometimes just with a little bit of music. And the second video each week is either an art experiment or a craft project. So if you like creative exploration, please do consider subscribing for a little bit of weekly inspiration. I hope to catch up with you again soon. Thank you for watching.